The contenders that you'll be looking at in this next set of gymnasts. Set D, the gymnasts who concluded their first half of the competition at the end of the day yesterday. And we're looking at people like Alexandra Jukescu, who was 16th at the halfway mark. Daniela Munitz, 17th. Sofia Raffaelli, 3rd. Adiazia Katz, 8th. Alba Bautista, 9th. And we'll be watching as well Paulina Perezina, 11th, and Annelies Dragan, 15th. We're also going to be keeping an eye on gymnasts like Louise Christie, 28th in the qualification process at the halfway mark. So anybody who's in that top 30 bracket with a possible plus Andrea Verdes. In this group she was 32nd. Now that's a long shot to move from 32nd into 24th, but strange things can happen in qualification. So we've got actually a lot to really keep tabs on in this next set of gymnasts, and also we'll be looking at apparatus qualification as well. Just as a crucial final piece of housekeeping, Lauren Gruniger scored 24.1 with the ribbon. And that means that we can confirm Fanny Pignitsky is the top ribbon qualifier so far. Her teammate Hanna Wiesner second, so it's Hungary for success in the ribbon qualification at the moment.
Welcome, Deanna, Artiomova, Lithuania.
Let's get moving with set D, the second set of today. Great to have your company. Ollie Hochman here with Blythe Lawrence alongside me. And we're going to bring you now the first gymnast. Representing Lithuania, this is Deanna Artiomova. She scored 26.85 with the hoop yesterday. Deanna Artiomova of Lithuania made her senior international debut at a competition in Montenegro in March of last year. She took a silver medal with the clubs and also in the all-around ball and ribbon competitions. A very impressive start to international life for her.
Please
this is an example of the milling of the clubs, rhythmic rotations. And gymnasts are required to do that as part of their routines with this apparatus.
And it's that sort of work that took her to the national title last month. Representing Bosnia and Herzegovina, Farah Fizic. Fizic from Bosnia and Herzegovina. She scored 18.55 with the hoop and 19.3 with the ball yesterday. Nice choice of orchestration, an interesting challenge to try to bring some flamenco choreography into the classical ballet world.
She has a really nice sequence of dance steps that really brought the music to life. And it's interesting what the effect of competing at a European Championship can do to a gymnast. Overnight, her routines seem to have gotten much more polished compared to her early debuts here. So it's interesting to see that progression and really good for her.
Please
Cabriole
welcome
in the midst of her
Lithuania.
spirals and snakes.
23, the score for Deanna Artiomova with the clumps. Fausta Šostakaitė of Lithuania. 41st place coming into today. The reigning Lithuanian champion, Fausta Šostakaitė. She was very close to a reserve spot in the all-around final at last year's European Championships in Tel Aviv. 19.55 for Fizic. That is, as you quite rightly observed, Blythe, her best performance so far.
And this may well be the best performance that Fausta Šostakaitė has given so far. She displayed a real club-catching reflex in this exercise. Nicely done.
Amila Becirovic from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Strongest yesterday with the ball, 23.6. such a tricky time of things with the hoop for Amila Becirovic, looking a lot more comfortable working with the ribbon there. A lot more comfortable.
There have been two very good routines from this team here today. There's a real playful quality to a lot of her work, and it comes out in this routine as well. She shows spirals with the ribbon, in addition to snakes. Both of those, of course, are a requirement. Gymnasts have to show them 2 times at least during the routine.
$25.75 for Fausta Shostakaite with the club. That's her second best score. And 21.15 for Amila Becirovic. Now to a gymnast very much in all-around contention. 16th place, Alexandra Ajurjukulezi at the halfway mark. Not doing ribbon, so this routine will count. Looking extremely good value for a place in the all-around final is Italy's Alexandra Ajurjukulezi. She's done such great work with this apparatus over the years. It is wonderful to have her back.
Well, oh my, she takes you on a ride from start to finish in this routine. The throws and catches were superb.
Munitz, Israel.
And this was an early sequence, the dynamic elements with rotation.
really did have some enormous amplitude, took a lot of risks in that display. Daniela Munitz from Israel, 17th at the halfway point, particularly strong with the ball. She's the reigning junior European champion with the ribbon. What a high-quality prospect for this Israeli team in Daniela Munitz. Always lovely when you see a junior European champion bring that to a senior European championships.
She is very good at apparatus handling, and especially good with the body difficulties too, particularly her pivots.
Happy birthday! Quel kullançlarımızı tebrik ederek! Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
We may be getting to the stage where we should just ask all the people whose birthday it isn't, just to take a step back. I think the score coming in for Daniela Munitz could be a suitable birthday present for the Israeli delegation. Next up we have the world champion, but first of all we've got 29.85 for Alexandra Jukescu. That's the best score we've seen so far with the clubs. And she is looking in very good order to get into the all-around final. Her teammate Milena Baldessari is scheduled to perform with the ribbon. Sofia Raffaelli of Italy, the reigning all-around world champion. Sofia Raffaelli of Italy. It's not been an incident-free qualification process for her, but it was a small drop in terms of the adjustment required to retrieve the apparatus. And overall, this is a very stylish performance.
Oh, it is stylish and also very difficult. She loses no time and no opportunity to build her difficulty. This should be a very good score.
30.8, that is a very good score for Daniela Munitz, with the ribbon the best that we've seen so far. Well done to the 15-year-old from Israel. Now to her teammate. Adi Asia Katz of Israel, who won the bronze medal with the ribbon at her home European Championships in Tel Aviv last year. 8th place in the all-around qualification overnight. To borrow lines from the song Dicen que esta historia está acabada. They say that this story is finished. It certainly isn't yet for this competition, nor for Adi Katz, who's delivered another compelling display. As has Sofia Raffaelli. She's gone into the lead with the club's 30.75.
It's a big, open-hearted performance from Adi Asia Katz with the ribbon. One of the hallmarks of her gymnastics is the way that she just avoids mistakes while at the same time performing massive amounts of difficulty. Bodes very well for her.
To a gymnast who had a super day yesterday, Alba Bautista of Spain, 9th at the halfway point. Something you can genuinely say about Alba Bautista, which you can't say of everybody in this sport, is that each one of her routines feels nothing like any other of her routines. They're all so different and discreet. A new leader in the ribbon competition, 30.9, Adi Asia Katz.
You're absolutely right about Alba Bautista, Ollie. Everything is its own piece of art, and it's got its own characteristics and personality.
And she takes a leading role in the creative process. She's often the one, actually, that's at the genesis of the ideas. We'll see that later with her ribbon work. Andriana Blajic from Serbia scored 24.9 with the ball yesterday. When watching Andriana Blajic perform with the ribbon, one's mind goes back to the end of 2021 when she went to a competition in Ljubljana in Slovenia and won Serbia's first ever gold medal in the 33 editions of the tournament with the ribbon, and she also took the all-around title. It was a really defining moment in her young career. And this the fourth time that we've seen her at the European Championship. She made her debut in this arena in 2019. Some of the pattern work was very aesthetically pleasing. Naturally, she will lose quite a bit for having to travel so far to retrieve the apparatus and take it out of bounds. 28 is the score for Alba Bautista.
Paulina, Perezina, Spain.
A gymnast just outside of the top 10 overnight, Paulina Perezina, the Spaniard, with a score of 31.95 with the hoop, 30.2 with the ball. fabulous use of the Kate Bush orchestration from Paulina Perezina. A gymnast whose previous best finish in the all-around, 15th. 17.3 for Andriana Blajic with the ribbon. Are we going to see Paulina Perezina push up to the dizzying or wuthering heights of the top 10, 11th at the halfway mark? Such a great gymnast, Paulina Perezina, in terms of her artistic qualities. She and Alba Bautista, they've got the same quality, but it's just totally different. Masha Tosic of Serbia, 15-year-old from Belgrade, from the junior national championship title now to a senior European championship debut. From Serbia, Masha Tosic. We mentioned, didn't we, Blythe, earlier, that there's a partnership between the Serbian and Azerbaijani gymnastics federations to try to develop the sport in Serbia. It's been a really positive experience for these athletes coming to the European Championships here.
And it comes out in the performances too, when a gymnast feels comfortable performing in a certain arena. And clearly that happened here. Despite several losses of the ribbon, she didn't go out of bounds, and she displayed some really nice body difficulties, including a ring pivot that was spectacular.
She very nearly went down the ballet route, Masha Tosic. Her parents actually thought that rhythmic gymnastics would be more enjoyable for her to do. Turned out to be a very good decision, because she's now gone on to be an international elite athlete, and very few ever get to that stage of their careers. We have to remind ourselves, we're watching here the absolute top of the class. We're watching those who've done something that very rarely happens, which is to break out of your own country and get to an international tournament. 29.5 for Paulina Perezina. She's well positioned in the all-around. From San Marino, Matilde Tamanini, 58th place at the halfway mark. The Sammarinese gymnast Matilde Tamanini, who's continuing a good family tradition. Her older sister was an international gymnast. 21.4 for Masha Tosic.
Please welcome Andrea, Verdes, Romania.
Now to a gymnast really hoping for a stronger day at the office today than yesterday, but still making a challenge at 32nd overnight. Andrea Verdes of Romania. Big routine this. Elite sport is full of really determined hard workers, and she is up there with the best of them. That was a great performance from Andrea Verdes when she really needed it. It was at the European Games in 2019 where she had a top 10 finish and ribbon was her best piece. It's often been her best piece. Blythe, that was some response from Verdes.
And this is a routine that showcases the best of who she is as a performer. It's feisty, it's a little bit spicy, it's terrific to watch.
21.95 for Matilde Tamanini. The 16-year-old from Borgo Maggiore in San Marino, Camilla Rossi, just outside of the top 50 at the halfway mark. The newest thing from the oldest nation in the world, Camilla Rossi from San Marino. Really interesting prospect. We'll come back to her in a moment. That's a really interesting number, 29.2 for Andrea Verdes of Romania, the third best with the ribbon, and it's catapulted her up the all-around standings. Back to this youngster from San Marino. One to keep an eye on. This could be a very positive day for Annelies Dragan. She tends to perform well with clubs and ribbon. She was 15th at the halfway mark. Romania has turned up, ready for action today. Wow. First Andrea Verdes, then Annelies Dragan.
Few gymnasts are capable of turning rhythmic into theater the way that Dragan can. She's so capable of handling big orchestration, really being the star of her own performance. It's hard with the ribbon to take your eyes off of her. And her split positions are excellent, whether she's doing a cartwheel or hitting a balance. The ring not bad either. Dynamic element with rotation. 3 chaîné turns followed by a walkover. Because she actually does 4 elements there, she will get additional bonus.
20.7 for Camilla Rossi. And now to the reigning British champion with the clubs and the Commonwealth Games all-around champion for Team England, Marfa Ekimova. 28 yesterday with a hoop, 23.75 with the ball, so looking for something really strong to kick off her day. That is a really bold and exciting performance from Marfa Ekimova of Great Britain. What a super start to her day.
She surprises you at various points in this routine. There's always a little nod of the head, a little wink at the music. She's somebody who really hears the music, is very musical in her creations.
30 for Annelies Dragan, third best that we've seen with the ribbon. I mean, that is so impressive from the two Romanians with that piece. Well, this is all very interesting in terms of what it might mean for all-around and apparatus qualification. Let's just go back and enjoy the performance of the first English gymnast ever to win the Commonwealth Games all-around title. And you made the point, Blythe, that we can see it here from her work, that she's one of those gymnasts who establishes a relationship with music because of her great background as a musical instrument player as well. It's obviously in her blood, really.
And you see her interacting as well, facially, with the music. And it really helps to tell a story when you do that in your routine. But it's also something that takes an immense amount of practice to make it look so easy under the lights of a big competition like this. She creates really interesting shapes with her body as well. And the clubs are just constantly in motion, which is what's required to get a big score in this. Gymnasts are asked to do all sorts of throws, large, small, catching them behind the back, doing things unsighted.
This one imagines will eclipse what she did with the ball yesterday and will be more in the region of what she did with the hoop.
Yes, one imagines. Here's one of her dynamic elements with rotation. Those so pivotal towards building a big score. Doing rotations under the flight of an apparatus, combining them with smaller throws as you retrieve the apparatus. We see it over and over again, but it's important to emphasize how much that can help a score.
We've talked about squads that are really impressing, like the Swiss, for example. What a joy it's been to see them developing. We must talk about the British squad and what a presence they're establishing.
And also how much the Commonwealth Games last summer helped them to get on the map internationally.
26.4 for Marfa Ekimova. Way better than her score with the ball. Performing with the clubs, Great Britain's Louise Christie, 28th place overnight. Great Britain's Louise Christie is evidently an occasion handler. It was clear at the Commonwealth Games, it was clear yesterday, it was clear just then.
She is clearly in the middle of a career performance at the European Championships. She handled this routine to the tunes of Macklemore and Ryan Lewis really, really well. Secure tosses and catches. Excellent pivots as well.
Representing Lithuania, Victoria Stamponas. Gymnast with a very strong sense of style, Victoria Stamponas from Lithuania. 26.35 for Louise Christie, just a fraction down from her score with the hoop. And she'll go to ribbon as her final performance. So this is what we've got to come in the second half of set D. Hope you're enjoying all of the coverage so far from the 39th European Rhythmic Gymnastics Championships. Don't know about you, but I'm having a great time. Such good sport that we're seeing. Farah Fizic of Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is her final performance. To the hugely popular Samba do Brasil by Bellini, we see Farah Fizic of Bosnia and Herzegovina to take some lines from that wonderful piece of music. O coração acelerando, dançando e rembolando sem parar. Heart racing, dancing and dancing non-stop. Her heart must have been racing coming to these championships. And now she's concluded her qualification campaign. 25.4, the score for Victoria Stampenes. That's her best score at these championships. Well done to her. She concludes her campaign. Final performance now coming for Fausta Šostakaitė of Lithuania. Got herself back into play with a 25.75 with the clubs. What can she now do with the ribbon at her 4th European Championships? Fausta Šostakaitė of Lithuania brings to a close her qualification campaign. 18.75 for Farah Fizic.
Please welcome Andrea, Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Final performance of these championships for Amila Becirovic of Bosnia and Herzegovina, the 16-year-old from Tuzla, the 3rd largest city in her country in the northeast. A little share on a sunny day in Baku from Amila Becirovic of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
She has everything that she needs to be one of the great rhythmic gymnasts from her country. She's still very young, only 16 years old, and this has been an incredible opening performance for her overall.
Well, as Cher said in one of her songs, do you believe? We do believe in Amila Bečirović. 26.55 for Fausta Šostakaite. Our lone opportunity to see this gymnast in qualification. It is Milena Baldessari of Italy, only competing here with the ribbon. She made the ribbon final at the World Games, and she won the silver medal at the World Championships in 2018.
Je suis pas tout seul, là, tout seul. Ça fait déjà ça dans ma tête. Et si je comptais, combien on est? Pas trop quand même. C'est penser qu'il faut vivre ensemble. Sinon ça va pas vite dans la tête. Et c'est trop tard, ça s'arrête. C'est là que j'aimerais tout oublier. Du coup, je suis pas forêt uniquement sur une manière de faire. C'est penser qu'ils nous font vivre enfer. C'est penser qu'ils nous font vivre enfer.
Milena Baldessari of Italy, the silver medalist at the World Championships in 2018. 21.5 for Amila Bečirović. Good championships for her. Well, she's always worth the wait, isn't she, with the ribbon, Milena Baldessari?
Always memorable with this apparatus.
Please welcome Daniela Munitz, Israel.
To a gymnast who produced a superb performance with the ribbon. Daniela Munitz of Israel, now competing with the club. So much promise in that display from Daniela Munitz of Israel. A couple of losses of the apparatus, which unfortunately might be problematic, but in terms of her overall all-around qualification score, she's doing fine.
One thing to emphasize with her work is her ability to carry massive amounts of difficulty with the clubs. Even if it doesn't always go well, most of the time it does. And that reminds me of another young Israeli gymnast who was about her age 10 years ago, who really made her mark with difficulty. Her name was Lenoy Ashwood. Maybe you've heard of her?
Yes, just every now and then. 30.5 for Milena Baldessari. That is the third best we've seen so far with the ribbon. Now Baldessari's made her mark. Will it be enough to carry her into the final? The world champion with the ribbon, Sofia Raffaelli of Italy. It can happen to the very best of them, and she is the very best of them. Sofia Raffaelli of Italy, the reigning world champion, not for the first time in qualification, having some issues. The ribbon really was not with her for part of that. When it was with her, it was stunning.
Absolutely. And lest we forget, this is just qualification. This is not a performance that's going to keep her out of the all-around final by any means. She has clearly already done enough, and she will have another crack at these routines during that final.
In terms of the ribbon final, well, that might be a different sort of story.
That's another matter.
She just made it into the hoop final as the 8th strongest in qualification.
And you're right that when things go well in this routine, it's just beautiful to watch.
And she is somebody who will always carry with her a difficulty cushion when things don't go according to plan. It's just that a lot of that has probably been used up and then some on this occasion.
Please welcome
28.55 for Daniela Munitz. That's a very good qualification display from her across 4 pieces. Talking of somebody who's having a good qualification campaign, 2-time European Championship bronze medalist up next. Israel's Adi Katz, a final performance for her, already in the top 10 of the halfway mark. I tell you what, the development in Adi Asia Katz as a gymnast has been so impressive. 25.75 for Sofia Raffaelli, the reigning world champion with the ribbon, will not be the European champion. It will be the discarded score in terms of her all-around prospects. Back to Adi Katz. Where to begin?
Well, a little queen is always welcome with the clubs. Her consistency is marvelous.
On the subject of things that are marvelous, we present Alba Bautista with a really exquisite ribbon routine. She came up with this idea to La Saeta by India Martinez. When she explained it to her coaches, they immediately said, it's going to work, this. They were right. ¿Quién me presta una escalera para subir al madero? Who lends me a ladder to climb the tree? Alba Bautista, no one lends you a ladder. You're climbing all by yourself, right up the rankings.
Beautiful sequences throughout this routine. Shows the attitude devant position. Working with the ribbon under her leg.
Andriana, Blajic,
Beautiful
Serbia.
balance. Everything in this routine just maximalized, and you watch mute in awe.
29.3 for Adi Katz. That's her discarded score. That's not a bad score to lose. To Andriana Blajic of Serbia. And thus brings to a close the qualification campaign of Andriana Blajic of Serbia.
There's no lack of ambition in this routine. What she needs to do, and what I'm sure she'll take away from this, is just needs to refine things a bit. Make sure that all of her catches are secure. Make sure that her balances are held for 1 second. Make sure that her positions are completely correct. But she's on a good way.
29.55 for Alba Bautista. Now, as things stand, that's the 5th best score with the ribbon. And she's currently in 4th place in all-around qualification with a way to go. Paulina Perezina of Spain. A final performance for her in what has been a really good day of qualification. She may perform to flash dance, but she is anything but a flash in the pan. Paulina Perezina working at the age of 25, probably the best she's ever worked as a rhythmic gymnast. She's had to reinvent herself with a new code of points, and she says she loves the result of it. Well, I think we all love the result of it, frankly.
She rises to the challenge that she has set herself so well. Excellent dynamic balance to side scale balance. And wonderful lift and amplitude on her turning leaps.
.85 is the score for Andriana Blajic. That's her second best score of the competition. Masha Tosic of Serbia. if you look at what has gone well, what has not gone well for Masha Tosic, at the heart of it is a very promising and interesting young gymnast. 29.05 for Paulina Perezina, so that will be the discarded score, but she's in a good shape to be comfortable going into the all-around competition with those sort of numbers that she's carrying with her. Representing San Marino, Matilde Tamanini. A nice sensitive performance to Senza Fiato by Matilde Tamanini of San Marino, and it brings to a close her qualification campaign. 24.1 for Masha Tosic. Matilde Tamanini was 60th last time in Tel Aviv. Might make an incremental improvement on that here. Be a positive result for her. Representing Romania, Andrea Verdes, who's got back in the game courtesy of a stellar display with the ribbon. Can she keep this really good momentum going? It's a 7th European Championships for Andrea Verdes. We said after yesterday that she would go away and regroup and get ready for today's competition. She has regrouped extremely well. Now, there was a loss of the apparatus there, but nonetheless, she's in a more positive position than she was.
And the loss of the apparatus is not going to affect her score
welcome
all that
Daniela,
much. She did a good job of minimizing the deduction.
Yeah, she didn't have to travel too far at all, did she, to retrieve it? 20.1 for Matilde Tamanini. Camilla Rossi, the last performer from San Marino. On your way to and from a venue at an event like this, you hear conversations, you have conversations, and people have been going, who's this new gymnast from San Marino? She's really, really interesting. And they're right. 27.3 for Andrea Verdes.
Please welcome.
That has her currently in 13th place in all-around qualification. Still some way to go. A gymnast who is currently 7th in the all-around standings, Annalise Dragan of Romania, and she gets now to perform with clubs where she excels. So the qualification campaign, but certainly not the championships, comes to an end for Annalise Dragan. What a great couple of days.
She continues to come into her own as a rhythmic gymnast.
As does Camilla Rossi, 22.75 for her. Yes, you're quite right about Annalise Dragan. Let's enjoy this again.
Great with her.
Just technically excellent in the turning leaps. And note that she combines it with a throw, a change of levels.
To a gymnast who really improved her prospects with the clubs. Now performing with the ribbon, Marfa Ekimova of Great Britain. Considering how little we've seen of Marfa Ekimova since the Commonwealth Games last year, a very positive display from the 18-year-old Londoner. Seemed to be a moment there where she had to reset at one of the throws, but there was some very nice pattern work.
It seems like it came up around here where actually the ribbon went completely slack for just a moment, and normally she is so quick. She has such good reflexes and is able to keep the ribbon moving quite well. Dynamic element with rotation, the cartwheel, 2 chaîné turns, captures the stick easily and goes right into another cartwheel. Really good position on the split ring leap too. Creating snakes with the ribbon while doing a back cabriole. And finally, the switch to double stag with her head back. And a lovely arabesque position to end.
Nice, isn't it, to see there the classical arabesque position, which has over the years perhaps become slightly less in favour in rhythmic gymnastics due to changes in the code of points. It used to be very common to see the arabesque pivot used.
Yes, it's true, and for whatever reason, in the last few years, it has fallen out of favor.
But it is, for all of you who are ballet dancers, as you will know, and you know it well, Blythe, as a ballet dancer, it's such a fundamental part, isn't it, of ballet training, arabesque?
Oh yes, it's one of the first things that you learn, and it's one of the things that you practice over and over. Actually, no matter how competent you become, you never get very far from the fundamentals.
We await the score for Marfa Ekimova. First of all, 28.2 for Annelies Dragan. So actually, on this occasion, clubs will be her discarded score. 26.45 for Marfa Ekimova. That has her in 16th place in all-around qualification. And now we finish with Louise Christie of Great Britain. She sports the colours of the nation for whom she won the silver medal at the Commonwealth Games with the ribbon, the best ever performance internationally by a Scottish gymnast. Scotland the brave, Louise Christie the brave. Here she goes. I think you'll enjoy this. That's what made Arena Birmingham roar with delight at the Commonwealth Games to the sounds of the Red Hot Chili Pipers, a Celtic rock band, Louise Christie. And how lovely she actually gets to wear the leotard that didn't arrive in time for the Commonwealth Games. Oh, it's great to see such choreographic variety. Appropriately enough, it reels you in.
And very sound fundamentals in her body difficulties and her apparatus difficulties. On display, changing hands with the stick under her leg. All of these small things showing her mastery of the ribbon.
When she came back to the airport after the Commonwealth Games, Beacon Gymnastics Club met her with a ribbon guard of honour at the airport. They all had their ribbons. They were playing this music, waiting for her to come through.
Fantastic. And the dance steps, too, marry with the music so beautifully.
Execution-wise, there will be some clear deductions for a few issues here and there. From a performance point of view, it's so memorable. The score for Louise Christie is 23.7. She's 17th in the all-around standings. Let's take a look at the lay of the land. Top with the club, Sofia Raffaelli. Second place, her teammate Alexandra Ajur-Jukulezi. It's 28.2, that is the gatekeeping score at the moment, at the halfway point of club's qualification. Alba Bautista once again finding herself just priced out of the market, but there is some way to go. We look down the order at all of the athletes that have played their part in interesting and thoroughly enjoyable clubs qualification. This is where we stand with the ribbon. Israel 1 and 2. Adiazia Katz and Daniela Munitz, very well done to them. Milena Baldessari, who only performed with the ribbon, in third place. And we have two gymnasts tied in 7th position with the ribbon. Paulina Perezina and Fanny Pignitsky. And the all-around standings at the moment: Sofia Raffaelli, then Adi Katz, Fanny Pignitsky, Alba Bautista, Paulina, Perezina are your top 5. These are the gymnasts who are currently in a qualification spot, in contention, but we still have 2 more groups to conclude their campaigns, and in a moment we'll just take stock of who we've still got to see. It is, for example, Lana Sambol at the moment who is in 24th position, but we are going to be looking soon at Boriana Kalane in the next group, second best in qualification at the halfway mark. We'll also be looking at Stiliana Nikolova. I think she might possibly be in contention for a place in the all-around final, considering she was top at the halfway mark. We'll see Margarita Kolosov, who was 13th halfway, Daria Varfolomeev, who was 6th halfway, Paulina Karika, 14th halfway, Victoria Onoprienko, 4th halfway, and then in the final set of gymnasts we'll have Evelina Orfanu, 26th halfway, Rita Araujo, 29th halfway, Mael Mile, 18th halfway, Elen Karbanov, 20th at the halfway point, Zora Agamirova, 5th at the halfway point, Yekaterina Vedenieva, 12th at the halfway point, and Panayota Litra, 10th at the halfway point. So we've got a lot still to come in the qualification process. All of that brings us to the end of this session, and we'll resume in around 50 minutes' time for the second half of the day's coverage. We'll see you soon.